Okay, it's definitely worth a try, right? It is absolutely beautiful out here, but you guys can hear in the background, and I've mentioned it before. Oh, I live by a really busy road, so it's kind of noisy, and it may be too much for the video. But it's so beautiful out here, so I thought I'd give it a try. So we're only going to look at 4 things on the list today. I've got balance, ballast, BOW, which is my basic operating weight, and BEW, which is my basic empty weight. And you can see on the table, I do have my aircraft weight and balance handbook. Another book, right, from the FAA that is absolutely free for anybody who wants to download it, or if you just want to go onto the FAA website and look at it. You don't necessarily need to download every single thing that I suggest, but it is available for you. And this is one of the few. I keep the weight and balance handbook on my phone. I keep the whole thing. You can see it's kind of small, right? It's a small book. Pretty thin. Oh, there goes my pencil. Pretty small book, pretty thin. And so it doesn't take up much room, and so I do make space for it on my phone, so that I have it at all times. Because it's one of those things that whether you fly yourself, or you fly for the industry, or if you are dispatching, it is information you need to have at your fingertips the greater majority of the time. Sure, most of it you can commit it to memory, but always better to have a reference source instead of relying totally on your memory. We're going to learn that things from memory aren't always the best strategy. Okay? And so when we do go to the list, I think I'm going to go ahead, I don't know, I was going to move the GoPro, right? I think it's okay though. When we go to the list and we see balance, it's at the top. Balance is an important term. We see it on the cover of the book, weight and balance. When we look at that, no matter what country we live in, no matter what country we plan on working out of, weight and balance is critical. Right? There are usually 3 factors that go into it. We've got to weigh the aircraft. We've got to properly load the aircraft, and we've also got to maintain the weight and balance records. Every operation has to keep records on hand for any and every eventuality. So we keep track of that. We keep accurate and thorough track of our weight and balance. Weight itself, pretty simple idea, right? The max weight can only be, right, whatever lift or the wings, right, lift that the wings or the rotors can actually provide under operational conditions for whatever aircraft we're in was designed for, you know, whether it be helicopter or it's an airplane. What kind of lift can it generate? Lift must equal weight. And we know then, of course, thrust equals drag, my 4 forces of flight. So my weight is directly dependent on what kind of lift we can make. But then on the other side of that, with my weight, I must have balance. And so the balance factor determines whether or not we're safe to actually operate. when we looked last time at arm, we know that the datum of the aircraft then dictates distance back to the station, where we put everything. Everything in the aircraft has a place. That distance back from the datum becomes the arm. And because everything has an arm, everything creates a moment. Weight times the arm equals the moment. And then that is absolutely what determines whether or not we are within balance. And so if my aircraft is safe to operate, it determines my maneuverability and the controllability of the aircraft. If we aren't balanced properly, the aircraft could absolutely be very, very difficult to fly, or perhaps impossible to fly. If the load should, we hope nothing like this ever happens, the load should break loose, say on climb out, and should fall to the back of the aircraft. We are now substantially out of balance, and the aircraft does become impossible to fly. So balance is a critical idea. Balance also, when it is accurate, when it is within the safety envelope, contributes to the efficiency of the aircraft. If we've done it correctly, it will improve our maneuverability and our controllability, but it also improves our efficiency. Modifies the fuel burn of the aircraft, depending on how we have it balanced. Also directly related to my service ceiling. What will be most efficient? What is safe? What altitude can I reach? Can I work to the optimum capability of the aircraft? So we look at efficiency, we look at maneuverability, we look at controllability, and above all else, safety, 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 right? Balance gives us that. Okay, and so then when we talk about balancing an aircraft and we look at weight and balance, I do have ballast next on the list, but I think we're going to look at it last. Because basic operating weight, BOW, Bravo Oscar Whiskey, and BEW, my basic empty weight, Bravo Echo Whiskey, two very important, simple ideas, pretty much by definition. Every country does it a little bit different, but according to the FAA, and me personally, I feel it is a good strategy that they employ and is in their handbook, and everywhere I've ever worked, it's precisely how they teach it. My BEW, my basic empty weight, this will be a number that comes from my AFM, my airplane flight manual, right? It is the standard empty weight plus any optional equipment. The aircraft itself, right? If we've got winglets, if we've got headrests with TV screens in them, the pieces that make up the airplane, my basic empty weight, right? The device, the airplane that we're going to use to fly the trip, the basic empty weight. Okay, so then compared to my basic operating weight, operating, the O, Oscar, is the important factor. operating weight implies operation. That, in and of itself, means we're factoring in a crew. A crew isn't going anywhere without their bags, and then the fact that there's a crew and bags means that we also have a trip. So whether it be domestic or international, we then also have to add on pantry, our catering, right? The things that service, potable water, right? So the farther we go, the more snacks we need. The farther we go, the more potable water we need. The more crew members we have, the more snacks we need. So basic operating weight is my BEW, the basic empty weight of the aircraft, plus the weight of the required crew, their baggage, and all the other standard items such as potable water and my snacks. So my basic operating weight means just that. We're going to operate. My basic empty weight is then the aircraft itself with any standard equipment. Okay, things that make up the aircraft itself. Sorry. So my ballast is there to help us with balance. So ballast, B-A-L-L-A-S-T, Bravo, Alpha, Lima, Lima, Alpha, Sierra, Tango. Now, ballast is most generally removable, but it can be permanently installed weight. We put it in the aircraft to help bring the aircraft into the center of gravity range, into CG, help my safety envelope. We gotta fall within it so that we can balance the aircraft, right? Airlines, aircraft, bigger passenger carrying aircraft are designed to operate full. Do they fly well empty? Of course they do. They fly differently empty. Full is optimum, but when an aircraft is empty, most generally as a dispatcher or a pilot, we know it's going to require ballast. So ballast is a way that we can manipulate the balance of the aircraft. Generally, like at the airline, it'll be sandbags. Or a company that I used to work for years ago, we actually used all the magazines, the seat back pocket magazines, and they'd be wrapped up in plastic, and then they'd have bands around them, and oh my goodness, they were like 50-pound blocks or 100-pound blocks of magazines. And so you would throw the magazines in the back if you needed to apply ballast to your numbers to get things to balance out. Sandbags are kind of dirty. They spring holes and leak. It's not like the magazines are super clean, but they're all wrapped up in plastic. The cargo hold in an airplane is kind of dusty. It just is. And so a lot of that can come from the sandbags of ballast. But they also have ballast that's made, it looks like rubber sheets, and it's made out of recycled rubber, and they are flat and rectangular, and they're usually 50 pounds a piece, and they are wonderful for putting under other items. Many different ways, right? Even if you're in your general aviation aircraft, ballast could come into play. So ballast is how we can then achieve beyond question that we have balance with our weight in our aircraft. So balance, ballast, BOW, my basic operating weight when I'm going to actually operate the aircraft, and my BEW, my basic empty weight, which winds up being the actual standard empty weight plus optional equipment. Alright, so I don't know. Hopefully this video turns out okay. Cars in the background, kind of loud. Scenery, beautiful. Pages turning. We'll see. I hope I can use it. There's a good chance I won't be able to. But if I do, thank you again for watching my videos. Maybe a day with less wind. We'll see. Bye-bye.